A lot of people are under the misconception that the only opportunity you have to go abroad is to study abroad through your US home university. It's seen more as an experience and a fleeting one at that, as most study abroad experiences only last a semester or at max up to a year. And some study abroad experiences are only a few weeks long in total. The US university systems are really robbing you in this regard because applying to the universities of the countries that you want to study in and doing your entire degree abroad can be even more beneficial and rewarding than just completing a study abroad experience. Earning your degree in another country provides deeper immersion, broader opportunities, and long-term advantages that short-term study abroad experiences cannot match. Now, for those of you who don't know me yet, hi, my name is Emily. I'm your study abroad bestie with Beyond the States, and we have helped hundreds of Americans move abroad to get their degrees in Europe. And if you're back and forth and on the fence of whether you want to study abroad and just have that experience checked off your bucket list or get your entire degree abroad, then grab yourself a cup of coffee like I did and we will get into it. One thing about study abroad programs with US universities is that it is a very curated experience and it's specifically designed for American students, which could be seen as a positive as it's tailored to you. But one of the things about going abroad, one of the benefits about going abroad is kind of putting yourself outside your comfort zone and going outside the box. So rather than taking a few international electives, you'll complete your entire program abroad, gaining in-depth knowledge shaped by different teaching styles, research opportunities, and academic cultures. Because university systems in Europe aren't necessarily exactly like the United States. And these study abroad programs are mainly going to be with other Americans in the American teaching style and sometimes international students if you're lucky. But a lot of times you aren't getting that full immersion being surrounded by students from the country that you're studying in. And I think it's super beneficial as an American to learn different methods of teaching and being exposed to different methods of teaching so that you can be more adaptable. For example, while many university programs in the US have midterms and final exams with pop quizzes sprinkled around and maybe some assignments such as writing a paper, in Europe, oftentimes you're not even assigned homework at all, and your final grade relies solely on your final exam, which is often cumulative. And you may even have oral exams. And as somebody who did a study abroad program through my US university and then later went on to get a degree abroad, I noticed a huge difference from the teaching style of the program I did during my bachelor's when I was studying abroad and the master's curriculum. Now, while some might say that that was a difference between being in your bachelor's and master's level, I just felt like during my study abroad program, there was a lot of hand holding. As getting a degree abroad, you really feel like you get to immerse yourself in the academic way of life super quickly. Now, next thing that's super important is that the costs are lower. Universities in countries like Germany, France, or Norway often charge little to no tuition compared to US schools, making your entire degree more affordable than even just a semester of your study abroad program in the US. When I did my study abroad year in Germany, I was still paying US tuition fees to San Diego State University. And when I was doing my master's, I was paying German tuition fees. For my study abroad program, I believe I was paying $30,000 or $35,000 per year. It's been a while, so I can't remember exactly. Whereas with my master's program, getting a degree abroad, my tuition costs less than $400 per semester. The price difference is absolutely astronomical. So if you get a degree abroad instead of studying abroad, you essentially cut the middleman out, which is your US university, and end up saving a lot more money and also getting an entire degree out of it. Next is long-term cultural immersion. Speaking from experience, I was lucky enough to have done a study abroad year rather than a semester. And even doing that, I feel like it took a little over a semester for me to settle in and feel acclimated to the environment. So if you do a semester abroad or even a year abroad, that's hardly enough time to feel like you're integrated into the environment. And as soon as you do feel like you've established a routine, you have the rug swept out from under you and you're back in the US. Whereas if you do a degree abroad, you experience living in that country for years, which allows you to truly adapt and understand the local customs and really feel like you're a part of the greater community. It's easier to make long term friendships. It also gives you connections, which will later give you access to job opportunities. And you just feel like you're a lot more at home and comfortable in the environment. Now, that leads me to my next point, which is language skills. Studying an entire degree abroad gives you years of practice in the local language. And yes, even if your degree program is entirely taught in English, a semester studying abroad is so fleeting, and oftentimes that entire semester is more focused on just acclimating in general, moving in, kind of dealing with bureaucracy, taking classes. It doesn't really give you enough time to relax and actually be able to focus on learning the local language. It also doesn't give you enough time immersed in the local language for you to feel like you've achieved a certain level of fluency. For example, even for me in my experience, I did a language immersion program through my US university in Germany, and I was able to reach a B2 level of German. But I feel like just as my German started getting good, and I started feeling confident in it, which was probably like the last couple months of my year abroad, I was on my way back already to the US. Whereas if you get your degree abroad for a bachelor's, it normally takes around 3 years. For a master's, a year or two. But that gives you plenty of time to acclimate and move in and fully settle in. And from there, being able to establish long term connections with locals, which does take time. And of course, the longer you're immersed in a foreign language environment, the better. So, going to the grocery store every day, seeing new words, slowly integrating them into your vocabulary is really going to skyrocket your language process and make it sustainable over the years. Now, next, I want to talk about one stereotype that a lot of people have when it comes to getting your entire degree abroad. A lot of people seem to be under the misconception that a degree abroad is not going to transfer back to the US or isn't going to be valued globally, which couldn't be any further from the truth. In fact, getting a degree abroad actually makes you stand out even more. Because there's data to back this up that graduates with study abroad experiences are more employable. Imagine how much more employable you would be if you got your entire degree abroad. Employers are going to value that sustained international experience, and the full degree abroad shows commitment, adaptability, and intercultural communication skills, which are valued in this globalized world we're living in. And this is going to look a lot stronger than just a study abroad stint. Now, next is networking opportunities. Instead of having a short-term group of American classmates, you'll build lasting relationships with international peers, professors, and alumni networks that can support you not just in the US, but globally. My LinkedIn is really filled with connections from all over the world, even countries that I haven't even visited yet myself. And that's all from doing a master's abroad and being connected to international students from around the world, and that can connect you to companies globally and get you an in. So you'll find that you're not just limited to US opportunities. You feel like the world kind of opens up to you and that the possibilities are endless. And that type of enrichment, that type of networking, those type of connections aren't built overnight. So you're not going to acquire all those rich connections just from doing a study abroad program. That takes years of building up to, which is why getting a degree abroad is so crucial if you want to have a global career. Now, another thing that a study abroad stint can't offer you is post-grad work visa opportunities. If you complete your entire degree abroad, say in Belgium or Germany, for example, many other countries offer this as well. There are post-grad visa applications and pathways for you to set up a permanent life abroad. Many countries offer work or visa opportunities where you can get a job seeking visa for 6 months or up to a year. And once you secure that job, you can apply for a long term residency permit. And then from there, for example, in countries like Germany, where you can now get dual citizenship, this just opens up pathways to, once again, a long term life abroad and a feeling of being integrated abroad. Putting the work in, showing that you're committed to that country by getting a degree abroad there really is going to open up a multitude of legal pathways for you to live abroad for the long term if that's what you would like to do. Now, lastly, on a personal level, getting your degree abroad is going to give you a level of personal growth and independence unlike any other. Once again, with getting your degree abroad, when I was doing my program, it was a lot of hand holding, which of course can be interpreted as a good thing, but they really did everything for us, our program coordinators. For example, when I did my study abroad program, they literally set up our bank accounts for us. They did the whole application process for us to get matriculated into our universities. They did everything for us to the point where we didn't even really learn anything because everything was done for us. That structured support really is a double-edged sword. Now, earning a degree abroad requires navigating life more independently, developing resilience, problem-solving skills, and self-reliance. Applying to universities abroad was a completely different experience for me because I had to do all the matriculation paperwork myself. I had to figure out how to get healthcare. I had to go to the visa office and do my appointment. And I just feel like that was such a character building moment for me. Moving abroad is hard, and if you know you can survive and do all that stuff yourself, it just really allows for growth opportunities. And if you know you can do that, you can do just about anything. And once again, that type of motivation, that type of determination is really going to be valued by international employers. Now, we hope this video helped kind of break down some of the key reasons why getting your degree abroad is a no-brainer and why study abroad might not be as good as an opportunity as it might seem. Now, in conclusion, one thing with the last point is that getting your degree abroad, you do have to do a lot of the work yourself, but if you do need some help with that, because it can be a really overwhelming process to navigate alone, that's where we at Beyond the States come in. We offer guaranteed admissions. We help students be matched to the programs that are perfect for their academic and career goals, and we can help you if you're struggling with that process. So if you're curious about getting your degree abroad and want to learn more, then check out the link in our bio where you can book a free 15-minute strategy call on our team at Beyond the States. Now that's all for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video and comment down below what country you would like to study in and if you have any questions for our team. And we'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.